Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm in the kitchen and I wanted to bring you along with me. Today I'm going to show you how easy it is to make homemade croutons. Y'all, I just discovered this about a month or so ago. It has changed my life, okay? I will never, ever try to buy croutons again. One, because it's easy. Two, you can do it in less than 15 minutes. And three, they taste so much better, so much better. So if you want to learn how to do it, then stay along with me. And then today we're going to make homemade sourdough croutons because that's the bread that I'm using. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, less than 15 minutes. They're going to be good, they're going to be great, and it's going to be much healthier than what you would buy in the store. One, because it has very simple ingredients and you know what's in it because you're doing it yourself. So let's go. Now first, let me show you this. This is some croutons from the store. I'm not trying to bash this company or whatever, but when I look at the ingredients, and I had not done this and I should have, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 ingredients for these croutons. 17. You got wheat flour, you got thiamine, mononitrate, ferrous sulfate, riboflavin, folic acid, garlic salt, water, yeast, ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C, vegetable oils, like 3 different kinds of vegetable oils, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. 17 ingredients. We're going to do ours with like 3. That's what we're going to do. So why do you want to do this? One, as we try to get on this journey and stay on this journey of just trying to eat better, eat more sustainably, homemade food, food from scratch, food that we know, that we can pronounce and we know what's in it. This is a great way to incorporate this into your daily lifestyle in terms of what you and your family eat. Now, if you don't eat croutons, then no worries. But if you like croutons like me, this is a great way to make your own. I love croutons on salad because I like the crunch and the flavor. I like it on top of soup. I'm very much a textures person and I love crunchy stuff, right? And so I love croutons. Love, love, love. So when I found out I could do this on my own and they taste so much better, I'm all for it. So what we're doing today is I have 2 leftover things of sourdough bread. You can see it's not very much. And so one of these sourdoughs, I actually over baked it and it got burnt but not burnt. Like it wasn't burnt where you couldn't eat it, but the texture was much more dense and not as soft. So my husband, he ate it because he's not as picky as I am, but I was like not feeling it. So he got it down to this part, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to use that to make croutons or whatever. So we have this part right here, and then this is the fresh sourdough bread that I made on Friday, and this is all that's left. So in 3 or 4 days, we've gone through a whole loaf, and I'm actually making some more sourdough tonight. So no worries there because we always have to keep bread in the house. So essentially, I have about this much. So that's probably maybe 1/4 of a loaf. And again, you can make as little or as much as you want, right? But for what I have tonight, that's what we're going to do. And you want to use, I think you can use any kind of bread. I've only used sourdough. And I came up with this because I had some sourdough over the time that I was not feeling well. I had made some sourdough right before that and didn't eat it while we were both kind of not feeling well. And so it kind of not went stale, but it wasn't as soft. I like soft bread. It wasn't as soft as I wanted it to be. And I wanted some fresh bread and I didn't want to waste the bread that I had already made. So I was thinking, I wonder if I can make croutons. And I looked it up, found the recipe, and yeah, you can. So I've made it already like 2 times now. So this is my 3rd time making it. So I thought I would show you guys. So basically, with the bread, let me find my knife. I had a knife. Okay. So you want to cut the bread in a thick enough slice so that you can do some cubes, right? So you don't want it thin because obviously croutons are not thin. So I'm just going to cut mine, and y'all, it's hard, or harder than most. I'm gonna cut mine in like, and I'm probably gonna go a little bit thicker than that. I want it thicker than that. So that first piece was too small. I'm going about that thick. So that way when I slice it, it's more like croutons. And so I'm gonna do that. See, this is the fresher bread. It's about 4 days old, but it's much easier to cut because I didn't overbake it. So you see that I just have these cubes, not cubes yet, but I have them in these slices about this thick. And then you're just gonna cut them in squares, which is what I do to make the crouton shape. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Because you're eating it. Now, I like for them to be, you know, a uniform size, you know, like traditional croutons, but I'll eat them even if it's not the perfect shape. So then I have a bowl here. I'm gonna put these in my bowl. I'm gonna keep cutting these up. Now, you do want to use an older bread. Like stale bread is a great way to use up and make croutons. You don't want to use some bread that you freshly baked because it's not going to hold as much. Fresh bread, see, like this piece is not necessarily crouton shaped, but it's going in the bowl. You better believe it. So I'm just chopping that up. Put it all in the bowl. We got the end piece. We'll see how the end pieces do. I don't know if I did the end pieces the last time. And then this is our last piece. Here, end pieces. See, the end piece is not holding up as well on the newer bread. Okay, so this is what we have. We have some bread cubes. This is probably, if I had to say, maybe 4 cups, if I had to guess. We're gonna put these pieces on in there. Okay, so now, all we're gonna do, I have some melted butter that I'm gonna drizzle. You can use butter or olive oil. You just need some type of fat. That's gonna make it crispy. I actually use both. Why? Because I want to. So I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil, just a little bit. I'm gonna get my tongs and just toss it. So you can kind of see a little bit of that. I'm gonna add just a little bit more oil so that every piece has, not every piece, but it lets it just a little bit more coated so it can hold on to the seasonings. So just a little bit. Gonna toss it some more. And then we're gonna add our seasonings. So we're gonna add some salt. This is the Redmond's real salt that I got from Azure Standard. I really like this salt. It tastes really good. Just gonna pour some in my hand and sprinkle it so that way I don't have too much. Okay, that's probably enough. And then we're gonna get some garlic powder. Because I'm making some garlic croutons. You can make whatever kind of seasonings you want. You could just do the butter and the olive oil if you just want more of a plain. But I wanted to add a little bit of garlic powder so that it has a little bit of flavor. And then, I didn't try this the last time, but I'm gonna try it now. A little bit of Italian seasoning. Can't hurt it. Just a little bit. It'll give it a little bit of color, so to speak. Kind of like Italian breadcrumbs, but Italian croutons. So that's it. That is literally it. Now, we're gonna put on our baking sheet. So this is some stoneware. Now, the first time I did this, the recipe said to use parchment paper, and I did. That way you don't have a mess. You can just take it and pull it up. But the first time I did it, they were more chewy than crisp. And so the second time I did it, I did not use parchment paper because I like for it to be more crispy than chewy. I want it crispy and it can have a little bit of chew on the inside, but I don't want it chewy, if that makes sense. So you can do whichever preference you have. And I'm just gonna put them all on the baking sheet and kind of just make sure they're in a single layer. Just like that. It smells so good. So we used the bread, we used olive oil, we used some garlic powder, and some Italian seasoning. That's 4 ingredients, 4 versus 17. Then we're just gonna put this in the oven. It's on 400. We're gonna put it in the oven for like 15 minutes, but halfway through, I'm gonna toss them and just, not coat them, but toss them so they can kind of get on the other side, and then it'll literally be done. So off to the oven they go. And I'll come back and show you what they look like. Okay, so this is what they look like after 8 minutes. So they're definitely getting toasted. I don't know if you can tell, but it's already browning up, but it's still kind of soft in the middle. So I'm just gonna toss these, turn some of these over. It smells so good. So very good. And one of the beauties of this is that we didn't have to go out to the store. I mean, the ingredients you already have. You have, I'm sure, butter or oil in your house. You have salt, and you probably have garlic powder. And so if you make bread and it goes stale before people eat it, then do this. Easy way to have homemade croutons. Can you imagine having a dinner party and serving this awesome salad with some homemade croutons? Be fancy. Fancy, fancy. Okay, we're gonna put this back in the oven for 7 minutes for a total of 15, and then they should be done. Y'all, it's done. It is done. Let me see if you can even remotely see. Look at that. Oh, they're golden brown. They look good. I put one out here for me to taste. It's hot. Did you hear that crunch? That is so good. I hate to be chewing on camera, but did you hear the crunch? So good. Just like that, we're done. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And if you like sourdough, then you'll like the sourdough flavor. You don't have to use sourdough. You can use French bread, whatever kind of bread you buy that goes stale or bread you make. But that is so good. Here's another one. Just like that. So good. Try this. Add this to your list as far as you're making soups. And the reason why I made this is because I'm going to make some broccoli cheddar soup later this week in a couple of days. And I thought about, that'll be good on top of my soup. That'll be really good. But as you're making soups, as you're making salads, excuse me, as your lettuce is coming in, you're eating salads. If you like crunchy, you like croutons, don't buy that stuff from the store. Make your own. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new. If you do croutons and you add some different spices or flavorings that I don't know about or that I didn't say, put them down below, share them with the group. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'll pop a couple of videos out here for you to look at before the next time I make a video. And until next time, remember, gardening is a journey. This is all part of it. Let's grow together. I'll see you next time, friend.